All right. And Joe Rogan making
Right.
big moves, actually, that affects all of us, really, in the podcasting space. Joe Rogan has signed an exclusive deal with Spotify. There's a lot of interesting facets here. One being that he's moving his video portion of his podcast to Spotify, which means the videos are going on Spotify now.
That is, that doesn't exist right now, does it?
No. YouTube should be scared.
Yeah.
Dude, Spotify is such a huge, beloved platform that videos going up there could really
That's a
YouTube
big move.
could be facing a crisis here, for sure.
I wonder how they feel about it and if there was any negotiation at all with YouTube to like
Dude, the money
keep
they gave
him on YouTube. But I feel like they made a big, I mean, it's a big loss for YouTube.
Well, I don't think YouTube would have shelled out the kind of money. They say so. They reported that it was at least $100 million. Now, I've heard from people that may be a good source for this, that it was well over 100 million. I've heard the number as high as 500 million.
Nah, that's crazy.
But is it crazy? Because when they announced that they signed him exclusively, the market cap for Spotify increased by 1.7 billion. Look at that spike in their stock on the announcement that they had signed Joe Rogan. They got $1.7 billion of new value.
That's insane.
Holy crap.
I think a lot of that was probably the fact that it came along with this announcement about that they're entering video. Like, some is for sure that Joe Rogan is like kind of the lead pilot guy that they're bringing in to spearhead that. But just the fact alone, like you said, that they're going in on YouTube space is a huge deal.
Yeah.
It is going to be really interesting to see what happens. And, I don't think YouTube would have put out that kind of money. And well, Spotify is a paid service, so they have a lot more. They have a lot more to gain by bringing Joe Rogan over. It reminds me a lot of like when Howard Stern went to Sirius. They gave Howard Stern like ungodly hundreds of millions of dollars, But ultimately it was totally worth it for them. So this is really, really interesting. His podcast is now on Spotify, and it will be going exclusively by the end of the year, including video. He says it will remain free and will be exactly the same show. It's just a licensing deal. So Spotify won't have any creative control over the show. They just want me to continue doing it the way that I'm doing it now. Yeah, I wonder if they can keep buying up more podcasts.
Such a big move.
I have to say that I'm so impressed by Joe Rogan's foresight, because he intentionally kept his show off Spotify for all this time. Now, our show's on Spotify, and I really like it there. We get a lot of
Views.
audience there, so it's really good for us. But I guess his show is so big that, whatever amount of audience he gets is negligible there. But the foresight to not go on there for years was so genius. I wouldn't have thought of that. He's playing 3D chess, and there you go.
It's it really is well deserved too. I mean, what he's done with the podcast is just insane.
You guys were talking about his downloads. I don't see any stats here.
I was just surprised by the number. They mentioned it somewhere briefly over in that area, I think, where
his YouTube channel is enormous too. 8.5 million subscribers, and a musician would need. I don't see it. Maybe you can find it. I know a lot of his fans are not happy about it though. They see it as selling out, and I don't know. I do disagree.
I think it's
too.
gonna enable him actually to do the show better, because it gets so difficult on YouTube to do the show. I mean, we experience it all the time.
I mean, money aside, there's issues of this new issue that's new tormenting everybody is the block worldwide. So money aside, okay, you have companies blocking your video because it has content they have. It's like, go ahead and claim it. I don't give a shit. But they block it. So I think it's time for some healthy competition, you know, in this space. And I personally think it will only help. It will help everybody ultimately.
This was the number. Last year, the podcast was downloaded 190 million times per month.
100 million times per month.
190 million.
190, almost 200 million.
Yeah, almost 200 million per month.
190 million per month. Wow.
That's probably why he had so little loyalty to YouTube anyways. I mean, he gets a small fraction of that from YouTube. The vast majority of that is still in audio downloads, you know? So what does he really care about YouTube in the grand scheme of things?
I wonder if we're going to get more audience on Spotify now, though. Because all these people are going to go to Spotify to listen to Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So Joe Rogan, in this article, they quote someone, and he's saying Joe Rogan just got paid the equivalent value of over 26 billion streams for a podcast license.
26 billion streams?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're saying, I think
if,
that's assuming that $100 million paycheck number.
What the fuck?
How many streams you would need to get to...
A musician would need to generate 23 billion streams on Spotify to earn what they're paying Joe Rogan for the rights for the podcast.
Does anyone stream that much? Because I know like Post Malone, like his big hits are doing like 1 billion streams. But that means in total, he's probably done like 5 billion or something. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has.
I don't know.
What did you say? 21 billion.
23 billion streams, but that's just what they paid him to move it over.
Right.
I also wonder if he's going to be able to put ads on it, if they're going to control the ads, how that's going to work. I'm very curious about this whole situation. Yeah. But congratulate Joe on a bounty well deserved, and I'm very curious about how that shakes up the landscape. You know.
Mm-hmm.